Abhinav, you are not audible to me.
Abhinav, please check your mic once. No, no. Oh, we are unable to hear you.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Sir,
you are audible now.
okay.
Uh, So, with your permission, I would like to start the session.
Yes, please.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. I'm Avinav Shukla, Senior Editor at Just Corpus Law Journal and the host of today's session. I, on behalf of a whole team of Just Corpus, welcome you all in today's session on how to navigate litigation as a fresher. Before we delve into today's discussion, let me provide a brief introduction of Just Corpus and the eminent guest speaker of the day. Just Corpus is a body of legal professionals who have come together to bring various aspects and chains of law under a single umbrella. Just Corpus, an edtech platform set up in 2020, has a wide reach of 600,000 clicks per month on an average basis on our website www.justcorpus.com. The inspiration was derived from the ever-growing need for law students. Just Corpus has also incorporated an interdisciplinary journal and a multidisciplinary journal as its subsidiaries, named as Just Corpus Law Journal and the International Journal of Law Research, Education and Social Sciences. Now, turning our attention to today's focal point, we are privileged to have Mr. Deepak Vyas, Advocate, Rajasthan High Court, sir, as our esteemed guest speaker of the day. We welcome you, sir. Sir
Thank you.
is a Sir is a practicing advocate at the Rajasthan High Court, Jodhpur Bench, with additional experience in matters before the Jaipur Bench. He is engaged in a broad spectrum of litigation, including civil, criminal, and constitutional matters, and is known for his diligent case preparation and strong courtroom presence. With a growing practice rooted in rigorous legal research and practical litigation strategy, he has developed a reputation for his clarity of thought, commitment to clients, and nuanced understanding of the regional legal landscape in Rajasthan. His experience spans both trial and appellate work, giving him a comprehensive view of procedural and substantive aspects of law. He also takes an active interest in legal education and professional development for young lawyers. His interactions with students, interns, and early career practitioners reflect his belief in strengthening the legal ecosystem through mentorship and continuous learning. Without further ado, without further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to Sir. Moreover, he is also an impaneled counsel for State Bank of India and Punjab National Bank. We welcome you, sir, in today's session. And without further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to Sir for his insights on the topic.
Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Deepak Vyas, and I'm a lawyer. I'm sure that is what we are concerned about today. So, no more introduction part is required from my end, any which ways. Let's proceed to the today's session. But before doing so, I would like to give two clarifications. Number one, that I would try to make this session as concise as possible and would only discuss about specific points which I feel that are relevant for today's topic. Secondly, I am not sitting here giving this session claiming myself to be a very successful person in the field of litigation or claiming myself to be a very famous or a very successful lawyer. Well, after hearing this, a lot of you might be thinking that, why are we wasting our today's precious Friday evening? The other person who's a speaker is also not a very eminent person in this particular area. So why do we listen to him? So basically, I want to clarify that I'm here today to discuss my experiences. Why my experiences are relevant? Because I have been there very recently where most of you are standing today. So I personally feel that what I have been through, what I have experienced recently, might be of some help to some of you. And if that is the case, then my today's job is done. So let's begin. My first, I would like to start with the benefit of entering the litigation field. And in my personal opinion, the the utmost benefit of litigation is that it is very welcome. It is open to everyone in the sense that, after completing law, there are, you are faced with a lot of things, like some people start preparing for, examinations, maybe for some judicial services, maybe for civil services, maybe for other sort of examinations. So in order to crack those, you have to study, you have to clear the exams, and then only you are eligible to uh, proceed with that particular career path. Same goes for any sort of job also, because unless you clear any interview or you get a chance for being employed at some institution or some firm in this area, you are, not able to make any career in that direction. But so far as litigation is concerned, this field is highly accessible and it is open for everyone. All you need in this field is that you have completed your LLB degree from a recognized university, number one. Number two, you have been enrolled with the Bar Council, maybe the provisional enrollment or the permanent enrollment, whatever it may be. And third is that you have a uniform. So if three things are sorted, you are just ready to fight cases, which means you are ready to start off your career as a lawyer in the area of litigation. So I think this is the best part about litigation. Moving on, once you have entered the field, so there is there are few foundational basic points. You know, those questions are faced by every person who is intending to enter the field or who has just entered the field, who is just a fresher to the field. So I'll try to address those points first, starting with the first one, which is choosing the place of litigation. Now, a lot of people think that Delhi is mainly the hub for litigation, and people, they usually, the fresh law graduates, they blindly rush to that place, get demotivated, seeing so many people running around, not getting anything in hands, and then they just quit litigation, which is, I feel, such a waste of talent. But in my personal opinion, one should start with litigation at their own hometown. Now, why do I suggest that? The reason is simple. You have your own family to support you in the initial years, number one. Number two, you have a fair understanding of the area, how people work there, how things work there, how to manage things. It's very difficult to manage everything in a city which is completely unknown to you. And comparing to that, it is so much easier to manage things at your own place, where you have grown, where you have studied, where you have settled comfort of your own. So, and third benefit of starting litigation from your own hometown is that you get easy access to clients. Why do I say so? Because you have a broad circle there. A lot of people know you. A lot of people know your parents. A lot of people know your family members. You have a lot of friends. So it is easier to get referrals in form of clients. It is easier to solicit work there. It is easier to manage things. So far as the place of litigation is concerned, to sum up, I would suggest that one should always start with their own hometown. Now, once you have sorted the place of your practice, then another question that is faced by freshers is that which is the right forum for litigation. Now, it's a long standing debate that whether to start from directly from High Court or to start your practice from the subordinate courts only. See, there is no short formula for that. There is no fixed rule for that. I would not support the claim that you cannot start your practice directly from the High Court. That is not the case. I would clarify to each one of you that you can start your practice from any forum for that matter. You can start from the subordinate courts. You can start from any specific tribunal. You can also start directly from the High Court. Yes, so far as the understanding part is concerned or learning part is concerned, I would not deny that the foundational knowledge is built in the subordinate courts. The reason is very simple that in the subordinate courts, I'm talking about the places in the states where the High Court does not exercise original jurisdiction. For that, like for example, in Rajasthan, where I'm practicing, the High Court is not having original jurisdiction. So, in that case, the trial part is taken up by the subordinate courts. Any which ways, otherwise, also the basic trial part, be it civil trial or a criminal trial, that part is, it can be learned in a better way in the subordinate court itself because it is the first place of pleadings. It is the first place of, uh, 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 you know, uh, cross examination, first place of giving examination in chief, giving your evidence, exhibiting documents. So everything is learned there. And once you have foundational skills, on the point, it becomes very easier to, you know, uh, progress yourself at the higher stage. Like at the high court stage, if you have, if you are practicing in the appellate side, so there also you are required to have basic knowledge of how a plaint is filed, what is a written statement, how evidence is led, how documents are marked as exhibit, how evidence is to be taken into account, what statements are crucial, what statements are not relevant, which facts are relevant, which facts are not relevant. So all these things are better learned at the subordinate area. However, this is no rule that you will not be able to learn anything in the High Court. Of course, it might take you more time or it might take you more efforts to do that in High Courts. But yes, of course, it cannot be denied that subordinate courts they teach you better. They help you in creating a stronger knowledge base which is required for your entire litigation life. Now, once that part has been sorted, that you have finalized as to which forum to start from, the other challenge that is faced by new entrants is the area of law. Now, this is a very controversial issue. A lot of people might differ from my opinion, but what I sincerely feel is that you cannot be very restrictive in the initial phase of your litigation life. A lot of people uh, usually advise that you can choose a specific area of law which you like. For instance, maybe if you are more into corporate cases, then you can choose a particular forum dealing with corporate cases. If you are more inclined towards consumer disputes, you can start your practice with district forum only. But what my suggestion is that in the initial years of litigation life, you should not be so restrictive in choosing your area or choosing your expertise or choosing your niche. The reason that I say so is because a lawyer is expected to know everything. He should behave, whenever a client is there in front of you, for him, you are the superhuman. He will ask you all sorts of questions that he has in mind with regard to law, and you should be able to satisfy his queries. And the moment you do that, only then you can win the trust of the client. Now, this does not only apply to the lawyer and client relationship, even before the court of law. See, specialized law does not mean that you are only expected to know only that particular law and your job will be done. It's intermingling of a lot of concepts together. You have to apply procedure code also, you'll have to apply specific specialized law also, you'll also have to apply general provisions so as to make your case and plead before a particular forum or court. So, in order to be a successful lawyer, you are expected to know a variety of area, a wide variety of area. With that, I don't mean to say that you have to learn everything or you have to experience everything. Of course, that is not possible humanly. Even I do not claim, even the bestest of the advocates, they do not claim themselves that they know everything on this earth with regard to law or in this area. That is not humanly possible. And I'm not also not advising that to you guys, but at least you know once you have chosen your area, once you have chosen a particular forum, then you will get a fair idea that in my hometown, suppose you have chosen your own hometown for practice. In that, you have also chosen that you will starting your career with practicing in subordinate courts. So after going there for a few days, you will automatically realize that in my area in subordinate courts there is a particular kind of litigation that is there, and I will also get clientele in those particular areas only. So once you are able to crack those particular areas of law, you can have a fair idea about those areas only, and then you can proceed with specialization further. Now, once you have also chosen the area of law that you want to, uh, uh, you know, uh, proceed your litigation trajectory on, then the next question that is faced by the new entrants is whether to, start your litigation career from the government side or from the non-government side. So, just to explain, uh, usually the government is mostly the defendant in a lot of litigation, and the government is not usually filing cases. But the thing is other way around. Usually private persons or corporations or other form of entities, they are filing cases against the government. So most of the litigation with government is to be is on the defendant side, on the respondent side. So this is also one one decision that a new entrant has to take before entering the field, that whether he wants to join one office which is dealing exclusively with the government cases, or the person wants to join some office which is dealing with the cases filed by the private entities or the corporates or the similar entities. So now this brings us to the another question, that how to find the appropriate litigation office for you, or how to find one appropriate senior for you. For that, I can provide you with like broad pointers, that there are few things that you should keep in mind before joining some office. Number one is that the office should assure you that you will get appearances before the court, individually or along with the senior, whatever the case may be. Secondly, such office allows you to take your own cases independently in addition to the work allotted by that particular office to you. Third, that office assures you that it will provide you experience with the real-time client dealing and client meeting. Fourth, that particular office assures you good drafting work. Fifth, that particular office uh, wants to be associated with you for a long period of time on long term basis, because by that it will mean that it wants to invest in you. And last and the most important, that office is willing to give you adequate compensation, which is a very important and a hotly debated aspect in litigation. I'll also deal with it at a later part of this particular session. So by now, what basic pointers we have discussed, I'll just quickly recapitulate. Number one is deciding on the right place of litigation, whether it should be your hometown or some other city. Secondly, it is choosing the right forum, whether it should be subordinate courts, tribunals, or it should be before the High Court or the Supreme Court, as the case may be. Third, choosing the proper area of law, whether you should make a particular niche at in the very beginning of your career, or you should be open to other areas as well. Next, choosing whether to go for government side litigation or whether to go for private side litigation. And last, how to assess whether a particular office or a particular senior is suitable. Now, once you have sorted all these points, then it means that you have, well, I assume that by now you have spent a decent period of time in litigation, because deciding on all these aspects might take you from like 2 weeks to 2 months or maybe 1 year. It depends on person to person, but it means that now you are fairly acquainted with the litigation part, that how litigation works, how it welcomes you, and how things are working in litigation area. So once you are sorted to that aspect, then comes the golden question, that how to get your own client. See, if you have joined some office and you're working there, it's fine. But that is not your lifelong goal. It is not a lifelong goal for every advocate. For some, it might be, but the trend says most of the advocates, they ultimately want to start off with their own office, and for that they need their own clients. So how to get clients? So I'll just share four quick points wherein by which you can solicit clients of your own. Number one is through advocate referrals. So, how advocate referrals work? For instance, you are practicing in the High Court and there is a district court at your home district. So, you're periodically going to your home, you are socializing with professionals there, you're socializing with other advocates practicing in that district court there. They know of you. You might have some contact with them through your family, personally, or they are in your friend circle, whatever the case may be. So they can refer you a particular case before the High Court, which is arising out of any of the proceedings that they might be dealing before the subordinate courts. So fellow advocates are one of the key points, key source of soliciting clients of your own, which a lot of people undermine. Second is through personal contacts, of course, which is a very generic point, that I admit it is a very generic point, but yes, it is true that you can get your own clients through your personal contacts. Now, personal contacts include your your family, your friends, or maybe your batchmates who are working with some firm, or who are working at some other place, who are also practicing litigation, but they are practicing at some other district, some other hometown, some other state, before some other high court. So they can refer you the cases. Third is through empanelments. Now, empanelments part also include government work, which I was discussing earlier. Now, there are a lot of institutions, for instance, banks, for instance, insurance companies, for instance, organizations like railways, for instance, like some the public sector undertakings. So all these institutions, they have a lot of litigation to be filed by them also, and filed against them also. Now, that for dealing with that variety of litigation, these institutions, they are not going and engaging their counsels personally on each case basis. They do not have time for that. So what they do is that since they are getting regular litigation against them or by them, so they make their own panel. Now, a panel is basically a group of lawyers which is specifically dealing with the cases of a particular organization with whom that panel is formulated. Now, for example, uh, uh, Abhinav has stated in his introduction that I am a panel counsel of State Bank of India and Punjab National Bank. So what does this mean? This basically means that a particular bank, that bank has created a panel of lawyers, and that panel of lawyers is dealing with the cases of the particular bank. So this is one such way where you can solicit your own clients. Now, how to get on panel? It varies from the organization to organization. Some organizations have eligibility criteria ranging from like 2 to 3 years to maybe 7 years, 8 years. It depends on organization to organization. And these are not necessarily government or public sector undertakings, but these are private organizations or private companies also who prepare their panels of advocates. Fourth and the last way through which you can solicit your own client is through online legal platforms. So this is something new to the list, which was not prevailing earlier. When the earlier generations they used to enter the litigation, this option of soliciting clients was not available to them. Of course, we are barred by Advocates Act. We cannot directly solicit clients, but there are some platforms online which are available, and they contact they provide a particular base for connecting advocates in a particular area, in a particular field of law, and the clients looking for legal help in that particular area, in particular field of law. So if you I will not name any such online platforms on this session. It does not really look good. I'm not propagating any particular platform right now, but you can easily search about them on Google. And once you have, a list of verified such platforms, you can sign up on them. Some of the platforms that charge some sort of subscription fee. Some are free for everyone, so you can sign up on them, and then you can easily connect with the clients. So these were the four broad ways in which you can get your own clients. And next topic that I want to discuss is that there is a long-standing question recently, which is a very hot debatable issue, that will AI replace my job? Now, a lot of people they fear to enter this field of litigation, thinking that now the job of junior lawyers, it is done, because AI is doing everything. Lawyers are drafting their pleadings through AI, and they really don't need junior lawyers. See, that is not true. To be very honest, being a lawyer, this is the last field which will be eaten by AI. I'm not sure about the other areas, but so far as a hardcore litigating lawyer is concerned, he will never be replaced by AI, for the reasons that the work of a lawyer is not just limited to drafting. It is much more than that. It is not just limited to vetting. It is much more than that. It is not just limited to pleadings. A lawyer, he has to appear before the courts also. He has to handle clients also. He has to do his due diligence also. He has to make reportings for his clients also. So a lawyer, he's a dynamic personality. He has to do everything in this area which is possible. In the field of law, whatever is possible, a lawyer is expected to know all such things. So AI possibly cannot do all these things, at least not in the near future. So you don't have to worry that AI will replace your job, and you don't have to get disheartened before entering this field. Next is that what is the additional work that you can do along with litigation to sustain financially? Now, as mentioned earlier, the payment part in litigation is a hotly debated topic. I will not deny that litigation is not very highly rewarding financially, at least in the initial years. But trust me, if you have patience and if you sustain in this field, it will reward you handsomely. बट द क्वेश्चन इज कि भाई शुरुआत में हम अपने आप को कैसे सस्टेन करें बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स अल्टीमेटली यू आर वर्किंग बिकॉज यू वांट टू अर्न and you want to live your dreams, you want to be financially independent. Of course, everyone is running for that only. So, in order to be financially comparatively stronger in litigation itself, and there are certain things that you can do. At least these things worked for me. Not sure if it will work for everyone, but yes, I can share my experience that there are certain things that you can do in addition to litigation which will also not divert your core attention from practicing law, and at the same time it will also give you a boost because it will help you financially. Number one is taking drafting work from the other advocates. Now, one should not undermine the power of advocates when it comes to giving you clients also, and when it comes to giving you work also. So, there are some lawyers, they're having handsome work, they're having good amount of work, and they are unable to do it on their own, number one. Number two, they are unable to hire so many associates also for their own practical reasons, maybe, but they have work for sure. All you need to do is that once you are in the field, once you're working, then you need to, keep a track of those offices which are having, regular filing, which are having good amount of work, and then one by one you can approach them. You can say them, you can request them that I don't intend to join the office, but yes, I can take up the work which can be outsourced by you. Now, that outsourced work can be mostly the drafting work only for obvious reasons. So that is one thing that you can do, which I did, and it paid me during the initial years of my litigation life. Second is the conveyancing work. So, conveyancing work mostly in my area, it involved the registration of uh, deeds, particularly. So, registration of deeds can be like sale deeds, it can be wills, it can be release deed, relinquishment deed, whatever it may be. So, all these things are also one added source of income uh, for a new entrant to this field, and it can really help you financially in the initial years. Third is online work, which I have already discussed, that there are platforms. So there are certain platforms which also provide client counseling, or giving your own legal opinions, and they also pay you after a particular cycle. So all you have to do is that some person who have some legal queries, so they'll call up that particular platform, and that platform will energize that particular call to the concerned advocate who has signed up on that platform for that matter, and it will connect the two, and the client can ask their queries over the call only. The advocate can provide his legal opinion on call only, and then towards the end of the call, the timings and everything can be tracked down by the automated software prepared by the online platforms, and you can be paid accordingly with the number of calls that you took in a particular month and number of minutes that you gave your legal opinions to various clients. So this will not only help you in getting some extra financial help, but will also help you to brush up your own legal knowledge, because in order to satisfy the client queries, you'll have to read up, you'll have to discuss with your fellow advocates, you'll have to discuss things with your seniors also, so that you are able to satisfy someone else's query. Fourth and the last way in which you can make some extra money while practicing is through content writing. Now, content writing, this is not something that I propagate, but this is, of course, not propagate in the sense that this is not something that I propagate to a lawyer. One should not go full time into it if you want to practice law seriously. But yes, in the initial years, if you want to have some extra money for that matter, so for that you can easily take up content writing assignments, which are available on a lot of platforms across the internet. Now, moving on to the next topic. Time really does not permit me to discuss a lot of things, but I'll quickly wrap up. So there was a consistent query on this particular questionnaire page, wherein a lot of people have asked that what should be the basic skills that new law entrants they should know. So, in my opinion, I have listed down 5 things that one must invest in. Number one is their research skills. Research skills is not just limited to finding the case law, but it is also, it is much more than that. You should know how to, research out the relevant provisions of law, relevant rules. You should be able to navigate through relevant government websites. You should be able to trace out certain notifications, etc. Of course, being pro with Manupatra, SEC Online, that is a must for every lawyer. It goes without saying. But in addition to that, you should also be well aware about how to, research out things which are for your own benefit, or, for the purpose of drafting, for the purpose of showing any law before the court. So you should be able to, chalk it out from the internet. That should be the level of minimum research skill that you should have. Second skill is drafting. Of course, I know it's the world of AI and everyone relies upon AI, but AI, as I said, cannot replace what a lawyer's mind can do. So I suggest that one should invest in learning good drafting skills and not rely on the, solely on the AI to do that. Third is, of course, very generic, but it is true that speaking skills are a must. You must be able to present your case before a particular court. You must be able to have a good speaking skills, not just, that would not be helpful for, presenting your case, but it is equally helpful when you are dealing with your client. You should know how to interact with client. One should have a basic understanding and knowledge of what to speak and what not to speak before a forum or before a client. And lastly, crisp dressing, because we are professionals and हम काले कोट वाले हैं, तो of course it should be very crisp. Moving on to the last part, I have some general suggestions which I have noted down, and these general suggestions are for the new law entrants. Of course, number one is that do not glorify long working hours in this particular field. I know that this is quite controversial. A lot of people will hate me for saying this, but do not get swayed away when someone comes and tells you that if you want to be a lawyer, you have to, work for 15 hours a day. You have to work 7 days a week. Well, I really do not support that. You should have healthy working hours. I understand that litigation requires extra hard work, but that does not mean that, you will just uh, stop living your own personal life. So create a safe difference between your working hours and your personal life. Do not glorify long working hours to someone. Next is, do not glorify working without salary. If someone says that I don't pay my juniors, I don't pay my associates, don't go and work with them. No matter how brilliant that particular senior is, don't go work with them. The person should be paying you at least a respectable amount. I'm not saying that everyone will pay you thousands or lakhs of rupees in litigation, but it should be a respectable amount. Since you're putting in your time, energy, and efforts, you are eligible to receive some sort of compensation in return. कोई तुम्हारे पे एहसान नहीं कर रहा है तुम्हें काम सिखा के. So this particular mindset has to be changed. Do not glorify working without salary. Third suggestion is that do not fall for this trap that litigation is only for generational lawyers. And being a first generation, I cannot survive in litigation. That is not the case. Every person, even though he is a generational lawyer or not, every person who is practicing law has his own path जिसके ऊपर उसको चलना है, and he has no other option. His father, his grandfather, his relatives, they'll be able to help him out only to a particular extent, only to a certain extent. Ultimately, you will have to get your own client, you will have to get relief on your own for that client, and only then you will get your client fees. Fourth suggestion is that I know litigation demands a lot of efforts, it demands a lot of patience, it demands a lot of time. I request to the, all of you, to all the persons who are seeking to, enter this field, please keep patience at least for some time. In 6 to 8 months, आपको सब चीजें समझ में आने लग जाएंगी that how things work. उससे पहले you will be completely blank. So I request कि पहले 6 महीने please survive. After 6 months, जब आपको चीजें समझने आने लग जाएंगी, then you will start navigating कि अब मैं खुद अपना काम कैसे लाऊं. It will be frustrating in the initial years कि भाई maybe for like 1 year or 1.5 years or 2 years maybe आपको कोई काम ना भी मिले, but don't get disheartened. Please keep patience, please sustain, and trust me, litigation will reward you in which no other field will. My fifth suggestion is that there is no right time to be independent. I'm sure some of you must have already entered this field and maybe thinking maybe you guys may have worked for like some good period of time, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. And you might be thinking that now it's time I should get independent. See, it is completely your choice. My suggestion is that there is no right time to be independent. Don't get influenced by what your friends are doing or what others have done or what your senior has done. There is no shame in sticking to one office for 15 years, 20 years. And at the same time, there is no shame in, working under some senior or office for 6 to 8 months or 1 year and then being independent. Whatever suits you, whatever your life situation permits you, is the best choice for you. My last suggestion is please do not compare your life trajectory with the friends who are working in some other field within this area of law. From that, I mean to say that please don't compare your life with your friends who are having a job in a law firm or in a company or who are working in a government job. Please don't compare your lives. You guys are having separate life trajectories and you cannot compare each other. I understand that sometimes it becomes very depressing to see that, one of my friends, we studied together, we played together, we enjoyed together. Today he's earning XYZ amount, he's earning in lakhs, and I'm not even earning in thousands. What is litigation giving me after all? Don't have that particular feeling. Don't compare yourself with others. It will take you to very good places in litigation if you don't compare your life path with the life path of the others. So with this, I hope a lot of you must have got something out of this particular session. I might have been very generic at some places and very specific at some places as well. I tried my level best to uh, you know cater to those specific points which are very crucial, which I thought were very crucial during the initial years of my litigation life. So I tried my best to concentrate on those parts. And of course, if anyone of you is having any query or any doubt, I'm always open, I'm always available on all the platforms. You can search my name, you can contact me, and I'll be very happy to help. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Abhinav. Let's just proceed with the conclusion of this particular session. We have already exceeded the time.
Uh, Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable insights. So I had collected some questions from the chat box and other available forms, but you have already covered those questions. So I would be directly moving to the conclusion. In closing, I, on behalf of Just Corpus, extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering such an informative session. We trust that the audience found it both interesting and knowledgeable, and would try to imbibe the skills that you have told us in our legal career ahead. Thank you once again, sir, and we eagerly anticipate the opportunity to host you again. Thank you, sir.
Thank
It
you.
was an incredible session, sir.
Likewise, Abhinav. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll just log off now.
Thanks.